This is a meeting of the Berlin Council on Aging. And it's held in a hybrid mode in accordance with the state's and towns' regulations and requests concerning protection against the spread of COVID. I will call the roll. If I could see it with the mask fogging up my glasses. Let's see.
It's a problem with the masks.
Or the weather, or all of the above.
All the above.
You think I know who's on the committee already, wouldn't you? Karen Schultz is not here. Rachel Boyer. Lori Fairbay.
Here.
West Durant, no, is in Maryland. Kate Bliss.
Here.
Pat Wheeler.
Here.
Bob Blair here. Is Chris Keefe attending virtually?
She is. She's logging in as we speak.
Victoria Flynn is here. Is Margaret attending virtually? No.
Who's taking agenda? Minutes, I mean,
Minutes.
who's taking minutes? I can.
It would normally be Karen, I think, but she's not. Or is she?
No, she's not.
All right, so I will if you want.
Thanks, Kate.
Yep.
We were just gonna wait till you said you would.
Yeah.
I know.
You do such a great job.
Your penmanship is beyond compare. All right, has everyone read the minutes from the previous meeting on February 25th? And you have additions, corrections, or an inclination to accept them? Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes?
I make a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting.
Do I hear a second?
second.
Second. Moved and seconded. Let's call the roll for approval. Lori Fairbay,
Yeah, aye.
Kate Bliss,
I
Pat Wheeler,
Here.
Bob. I or we, either way. but
Either
not-
way.
Not here.
Oh.
Okay. And Bob Blair, aye. Passes unanimously. Victoria, would you care to do the financial updates?
Will do. All right, so the financial updates since last meeting are as followed. Kate, can you hear me?
yeah,
Okay. So for expenses, we have $3,990.57. Donations are $8,719 even. And this includes the 8544 for the formula grant.
Oh, great.
Came in today. Part-time wages are $1,280.25. And then my wages are $2,529.56. So I did look ahead for finances for the rest of the fiscal year, since we're now towards the tail end of it. Looking at what we're gonna have due for the remaining of the fiscal year, between postage, Tai Chi, yoga, and then our Meals on Wheels driver reimbursement, it looks like we're gonna have about $900 left for the end of the fiscal year, but this doesn't include gas or any other expenses that may pop up. So what I will do is I will talk with June and see what will be done just in case we need to do a transfer of money. I'm not saying we're gonna have to, but I just want to know the options just in case it needs to occur.
okay. Sorry to make you repeat something. Postage, Tai Chi,
Yoga, and then the Meals on Wheels driver.
and then,
Right.
sorry, one last thing. What time
Yeah.
did Bob call the meeting to order?
What time to call the meeting to order?
Was it like 4:05?
Yeah.
6.5.
4:06.
4:06, okay. Thank you.
Yep. So like I said, we're looking at about $910 left, but this doesn't include gas. And the van right now is being used pretty frequently. And it doesn't include any other like expenses.
repairs to the van or any of that.
Speaking of which, we brought it to Colonial last week. There was a sensor light that came on. It was repaired for free, thank God.
Good.
Because it was still under warranty. So, I'm, like I said, I will talk with June and just see what the process is, just in case we need to do a transfer for expenses. I'm gonna have to do a transfer anyway for my wages because of the cost of living increase that came into effect halfway through the year, as well as my bump up midway through the year. It wasn't budgeted into the last, it wasn't part of the FY22 budget when it was approved. It's an internal transfer. It's not a big deal, but she just has to formally write it up so it can be transferred. So because the way that it works is that the wages, both mine and part-time wages, come out of the same general bigger account, and then expenses for us are a separate account, and then the donations for us are another account.
So bottom line, our $900 is left to be spent before the end of the fiscal year, which is what, June 30th?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and then obviously gas is gonna have to come out of that.
Yeah.
Assume gas is like $300-400, and we're gonna have about $500 left.
Okay.
Do we charge gas?
We have a WEX card, so it's basically it's a card that like all of the town vehicles have.
Okay.
So it comes out, basically the town gets billed once a month for the gas.
Okay.
And then that money just comes out of our expenses. So it's for all public safety, highway, and us.
And how do they calculate our component by the miles driven?
No, they do it by, each of us have a different card number.
Okay, okay.
So they can
Oh,
formulate
okay.
who
So
had, like, which
see
card.
exactly what ours are.
Yep.
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
that makes sense.
So I mean, the last month, I think we maybe had about $90 in gas, and John always brings me the receipts too.
Mhm.
When I ask him, whenever he's dropping anything off, he does bring me in the receipts.
Do we have
So
our own fuel location or where do we go for fuel?
WEX can be used pretty much anywhere because it's almost like a debit card where it will be used. I mean, it's almost like a credit card where it can be used kind of anywhere. And then they notify WEX, who then notifies the town that we,
Do we have BJ's or Costco membership that would include lower cost fuel?
no, the town doesn't. I mean, at this point, we would have to, I don't know how much money it would save us, because normally, like, I think we do get gas at a reduced rate, but I can double check and see.
You don't get a huge rake off, but it's
No,
something.
it's something. So,
And we have one driver now or two? I thought we had-
one. So we have one full-time, well, we have one that's driving the whole time as it is. I have another driver who's being hired as per diem. She is just pending CPR class and physical.
Oh.
And she's getting me her DMV records,
So
so.
both drivers are versed in CPR?
John is, yes, you have to be to have the job. So, and then our second driver will be. So she's gonna be per diem, so she can pick up like a day or two, maybe here or there, because she's already working for a couple other towns.
Is there an onboard defibrillator?
Yes,
Wow.
by
That's
law, we have
scary.
to, by law, we have to have it.
They should have those in all the school buses. If you don't be quiet back there, I'm gonna defibrillate you. What? Well, I shouldn't have said that,
I
Kate.
guess
since
we
you had-
shouldn't make Bob a van driver.
Yeah, right. I was once for Worcester.
This
I
was,
have a friend that does that.
Threatening our townsfolk while driving is not very welcoming, Bob.
Oh. Well, I'm reformed though, so I only say things that I don't actually do. Tai Chi yoga and van updates, where you gave a little bit on the van.
yep. Tai Chi and yoga, we're doing a blended model again of both in-person and virtual still, because both activities had requests for virtual still as an option. So at this point, Tai Chi is here in person as well as virtual at the same time. Starting next week, we're gonna have yoga at 1870, just to give them more space to spread out.
Good.
There's only, I think, a handful of dates where 1870 has something else booked that we can't use it. But I mean, Sandra gave me the schedule through August and it's only a handful of dates, so we should be fine.
Do we have to pay over there?
No, There's no mandatory payment now. I mean, we can make a donation to 1870, or we can, I can certainly talk to Sharon and see if, we take up 2 collections for donations, one for 1870 and one for, our yoga, if you guys want.
It's town owned, so we don't charge us.
Yeah.
for it. Well, there is a
I had a
charge
heck
on
of a
some
time reaching
things.
South.
Yeah, if you want a personal
why.
party. or whatever.
Phone over there and leave a message, phone her house and never get an answer.
So that's pretty much it. Van, like I said, has been going, we've been averaging 3 to 4 days the last couple weeks, but, I think last week and the week before, he actually rides all 5 days. So,
It's good.
yeah, we're getting a lot of rides. We are still doing the Northbrook Village grocery runs on Thursday afternoons.
Good.
That's working well. We've got some regulars now.
How many do you take on those?
It depends. Usually like, I want to say like 4-ish people like from Northbrook want to go on Thursdays, but depending on who's going and how much groceries they're buying, John caps it at 2. Just because there's a couple people who tend to have bigger grocery orders. So he doesn't want to, it fills up the van. So, because there's no trunk.
What?
Yeah.
How many groceries are they buying that they fill a van?
So, well, I mean,
Holy smoke.
so
The
So-
seniors, how much could they eat?
Well, they
How
have
much can I
cats.
eat?
I know one of the girls down there has a cat, so she buys kitty litter.
Well, we know they have kitty litter because we've had to clear the sewage drain system a couple of times because it clogs and they dump it down the toilet. So somebody did.
Oh, is that what they put it?
Well, somebody, yeah. They
That's
put out
very nice.
Put out an announcement to the community, put that down the toilet. Like you. Pretty
You
much.
wouldn't put it in, why would they do that?
That's the same reason people pollute rivers.
I mean, you wouldn't do it
goes
in
away.
your house. Yeah. Huh?
Maybe they did do it in their house.
Yeah, that's why they live over there, because their house is unusable.
That's surprising.
What's the good word on the grab and go meals?
we had a lot of good words. We did 111 meals total. We've gotten countless, like between emails and calls, everything has been positive. Everybody loved it.
Yeah,
We've never had a bad word from Chef Jour.
That was a good find.
Yeah, wow.
111 meals?
111 meals. We're up from 70.
Is he private
He's a private catering company,
over in Westboro?
Northborough,
one of the boroughs.
a borough, yes. Yeah, Northborough, but I mean,
He's formerly a rabbit, that's why he likes working.
And that was the 23rd, right? Wednesday?
correct. Yep. So they said that they'll come and do whatever we want, whenever we want to do it. So they do work some with a couple other councils on agings. I would just suspect that, as we go into the spring, obviously we wouldn't do anything in a weekend anyway, but they're going to start hitting their busy season with weddings and things like that, graduations and stuff. So, but if we wanted to do something with Chef Jour prior to the end of the fiscal year, we can, we would probably need the transfer of funds to the expense account to do so. Because we're going to be cutting it too tight.
Well, if we did anything, hopefully toward the end of the fiscal year, it'd be outdoors and
Right.
picnicky.
Right.
We
So,
used to do them down Northbrook Village.
I mean, it is something to think about. I mean, he said that they do like barbecue stuff, like they'll do like a whole, they'll do like, they'll cater a whole barbecue meal, things like that, if we
Yeah.
wanted to do it. Obviously, again, we would just have to take in consideration the cost, but it probably would be substantially cheaper than what we have been requesting for the meals, but
Are there any more COVID funds for something like that? No, that's it. Okay.
We're done with the COVID funds, I guess.
COVID funds were only eligible for use for businesses in town.
Mhm.
And it was more for like those who are homebound and who had problems trying to get in and out of their residences, things like that. So,
Okay.
Hmm. Good, well, good job on that. It's nice that,
I like to thank Pat for personally packing the meals. She did an excellent job.
Oh,
You.
right,
Oh,
Way to go.
And I would like to thank Bob for his speedy delivery. So
the food was good.
everybody said like, who got it delivered, they like, it was even warm when it came to us. Like, we were so excited. I was like, well, there you go.
It was.
I'm glad it was still, so yes, we found now a foolproof system for delivery. So worked out.
Did you get any
Powder House-
speeding tickets, Bob?
Did you get any speeding tickets?
No. Well, there was the threat of one, but I gave him a meal and he let me off. Powder House News, the deadline is April 22nd. I've got
So,
a firm commitment from Freddie finally. He asked you
yes,
number,
yes.
and
So-
also from Bob Hodge at the library.
I did talk to John too, our new van driver, and I said, if we wanted it, can we have like a little something just for him to introduce himself to the town, since he's especially not from Berlin.
Mhm.
He said, that's fine, he'll do something, so.
That'd be nice.
Just a heads up to everybody. So here is what's going on with Powder House News. We got our latest issue in, brought it down to the post office to get it mailed out. Postage has now gone up big time. The previous issues, we were looking at about $240. This last round, it was $335.
Oh, Jesus.
Whoa.
95.
Yep. So I
still
went
think
down,
I still think it's that. clerk.
I just,
You think
so,
it's what?
I think it's the clerk.
well.
Did we get additional members that we were sending it to?
Nope.
in
No.
addition? That's
No.
just
So-
postage.
So I argued it, went down, Bob and I talked to the post office. She was saying that apparently there's a new way that they have to weigh it and register it, and that we now fall into another rate of classification for the mailings, which we didn't qualify before. I'm not sure. It just, at this point, we have at least 5 more issues going out before the end of the year.
Mm.
Our contract with LPI expires December 31st. We have to give them a 6-month notice either way of what we want to do. I did meet with Kelly Kennedy at the beginning of the month, and she said at this point that with each year that they've been working with us, LPI has not turned a profit. She said that it kind of wasn't unexpected due to COVID, because a lot of the publishers, they weren't able to do the fundraising and the marketing that they normally do with a lot of the cities and towns, which makes sense with COVID. So she said at this point that as of last year, we basically cost them $1,700 to do our publications. This is what they're telling me. So what they are suggesting is that if we are going to do a renewal, we can do our 8 pages, change the formatting of it a little bit, so we're not having the whole pages of blocked out space for the publication, like for the
Ads.
ads, but have like partial pages, so at least it flows a bit better. She said that if we could cut it down to about 800, 850 issues, it would save us money in the back end. Or what we could do is if we
We only
want,
do 750.
she was telling me it was 1,000.
It's 1,000 on paper, but every time we order it, I put in for 750.
Yeah,
Okay. We'll double check it, because if it's, all right,
we've never had
Sorry,
200.
I'm sorry, guys. The mask stuff, things were a little
It's
fuzzy.
okay.
She wants us to cut it down to 750, and then Lori
no,
said we
850.
850, but Lori said we only do 750.
Yeah, that's what we order every time. And I talked to her at the very beginning, so we don't need 1,000.
Okay. So,
Contract may have said 1,000. but
That's what I'm
the
thinking.
actual order has been
Right.
said.
so if the order goes to about 850, it would be saving us some money. And, or I had said to her, well, we were thinking about, in the future, potentially trying to do a monthly publication, it could be a smaller publication, but we were thinking about maybe something monthly as well. She said that they have a minimum of the 8 pages per publication. So she said that what they would do is if, say, for example, we renew and we want to do what we've been doing now with the lower amount. She said, if, say, for example, we raise the marketing aspects up to where they want, they will edit our contract to get us up to a monthly membership, where we get monthly issues coming as opposed to the bi-monthly. but we're still gonna be dealing with the problem of the postage
Mhm.
because they don't do postage. They do have they could send it out for, like for publishing sake to a second company, but then it would be charged out to get the processing handled and everything like that. I guess the way that they do it is whenever a town has more than $6,300 in terms of marketing and businesses who are sponsoring their publications, the organization then gets a kickback.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
again, we would have to get there first because we're not there yet. So Bob did reach out to Clinton Publishing. And it looks like that for about $60 more per publication, it looks like we can get like a glossier finish like the Northborough or Clinton senior centers have on their publications, and that they would be able to do the postage and handling for us. We would just need to work on getting the recruitment for the ads and for the sponsorships.
the other part of that is that we did, they said they, you know, can we point them toward more people in town who could
So
advertise,
yeah.
and we did. but then
So
their sales
here's
never picked
here's
up.
what's going on with that, because I called Kelly out on that. And so apparently whoever we were originally dealing with when Holly made the contract, that person left abruptly. They got very sick and they had to leave abruptly. So there was a huge gap in who was covering our territory. So Kelly just kind of inherited the problem a couple months ago. So she said that normally what LPI does is comes basically like September, they all come out to the towns that they are representing and they contact all of the potential businesses and sponsor, potential areas of interest for sponsorships of the paper, and they take care of that. Like you had said, she agreed that all we would need to do is just basically give her a space, for her to work. And then if we wanted to give her a list of companies in town, that's fine, but that they would be the ones doing that marketing and recruiting for that.
That's a little different story than I had.
So all I'm saying is we don't have to take a vote on it today. We just would need to make a decision by the beginning of June as to what we want to do. Like I said, we are still going to have 5 issues come through LPI before end of year. So that money for postage, we're just going to have to budget for. At this point, it doesn't seem like it's going to be cheaper going elsewhere for getting the
No, the
publication.
postage is the postage. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. And if we were to go to like somewhere like a FedEx or a UPS to get it shipped out, it's probably going to cost us more.
Yeah.
So
The other thing about Clinton is they fold it, they
Yep,
stick the.
they do
edges,
everything.
They do everything.
So again, that's something to think about. During my regional council on aging meeting a couple weeks ago, somebody had mentioned Hunt Publishing in Marlboro. I can give them a call if you guys want to see if I can get some more information from them, just to, again, get some information about whether or not this may be also a suitable option for us.
Do you have per issue publishing costs from, well, we know what Clinton's are, but do we have per issue publishing costs from LPI?
I will email you guys the contract draft that she sent me. So we can all review it and go from there. But I just wanted to start bringing up this conversation now.
Yeah.
Like I said, we can wait till next month to take a vote when Karen and Rachel are here, but unfortunately, the paper is going to cost us more until we figure out things one way or another with
Okay,
postage.
I still would like to have some discussion with the post office about their rate, because I don't know why it suddenly goes boing.
Maybe check another post office and see what.
We can
they say.
try. The only thing is that I'm wondering if we have any issue. Because we do use the town permit as
Yeah.
part of it as well.
Mhm.
But I don't know if we're gonna have, if say, for example, like I take it to Marlboro and they aren't sure, they might just defer us back to Berlin and say, well, it's your Berlin permit number, it's your Berlin thing. We can certainly try it. I'm just saying, I don't know
Yeah, I think you can use it with any town now.
Okay.
Would it be
I
cheaper to go, would it be easier to go to Clinton than Marlboro?
Well,
No, but I'm just saying, like giving Marlboro as an example
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like, you know, if we
yeah.
went to another town, again,
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna work because I got like 2 different answers about how we were being undercharged all this time or that they weren't ringing it in correctly and now they're ringing it in correctly. And
Hmm.
so unfortunately, like I said, it seems like the post office is under a lot more, they're a lot more vigilant, I guess, is what they're stating, that, you know, they want to make sure that they, if they get audited, that they've been doing this correctly. The girl called the regional office in Shrewsbury and that this is what they told her and this is where we're at. So I
as far
don't
as the
know.
advertising was concerned, the gal that I spoke to was the one who had been handling that. And in the course of the conversation, she said something to the effect that they hadn't, I said, well, you had a whole list of potential advertisers. Did you speak with them? And she said, well, she hadn't at this point. And I'm thinking, oh, what the heck? This was like an issue or two prior that we gave her the list.
Yeah,
And it had something to do with her position had been changed and now her manager had taken over. She was almost acting like an independent
Yeah.
agent
Oh,
with the
So-
ads, and now it's being handled more in-house by LPI.
It is. So at this point, like I said, I think what we can do is if you guys want, I'll send you guys over the LPI contract. I've told her that going forward that we would need to do a 2-year contract because I believe that Margaret had asked all departments if we were going to do a contract with anything to make it only good for 2 years. Just because anything longer than that, you could be looking at additional costs or if things need to be changed, like now you're locked in for a longer period of time. So our contract would only be valid for 2 years. I will send it over to you guys so we can review as a whole. At this point, you know, again, just financially, I think there's pros and cons to each, but it may be easier for us to recruit the publishing, you know, and manufacturing costs to try to get sponsorship if it is done more locally than if it is done, you know, farther away.
I also would
Kate
want to
has
ask,
something to say too.
I just had a question back to Bob with Clinton Publishing. Does it
Yeah.
have to be glossy and fancy?
No,
Would it-
No,
it doesn't.
no, no,
just
no,
stuck
no.
With what we had now, could it be like $40 per issue or, you know, is there a?
No, no,
different-
no.
no,
it was-
60 was the add-on. to
It's
make
the
it glossy.
add-on. It's slightly more expensive, Kate, I think per issue, but they also handle all of the shipping and handling.
Okay,
It-
so
it
that's
is
like what we
worthwhile.
get if we go with them.
Yes.
It is worthwhile asking Clinton Offset, if they do everything else, if they actually handed it to the post office, what in his experience would be the postal rate? And would he be able to just take it, he prints it, gives it to
I
the
mean,
post office?
he
and they
may
send
get a
it?
different rate. I don't
He
know,
might.
depending on his, you know,
Yeah, I
frequency
think
of
it's worth
business.
asking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it should be the same, should be consistent.
it
I
should.
would think so.
I just don't understand why all of a sudden goes up. And this,
Yeah.
And again, this is the first publication that we had basically brought and was processed for for this part of the fiscal year. Like it's the first time in 2022 we had brought something.
Mhm.
I don't know if there had been any changes between 2021 and 2022. That I don't know. Again, this is just kind of where we're at. And then, you know, if this is going to continue, we just need to be mindful of it. Because like I said, I know it's not a small jump, which is why
right.
we needed to talk about this as a council.
Peg Sardell and I brought it over previously, and I think that same clerk was the one who said something, had some issue about and then whoever was the postmaster, and it isn't the guy who's there now,
So
said,
there are quite a few changes going
Yeah,
on
a
down
lot.
there.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not, it's not
So
cool.
it's, yeah, so that's
So
where
we
we're
have
at.
some homework to do before we take a vote on it then.
Yeah.
Now, what amount of, how many copies are you gonna be printing if you go with Clinton Offset,
The same. We would ask for the same.
the 750?
We can, I mean, honestly, at this point, something else for us to consider as well is do we want to do more copies printed? Do we want to have less copies printed? I know some people prefer to have the hard copy delivered. Some people prefer to pick it up at the post office or general store. Some people prefer to get it online virtually. That's something for us to think about as well. I mean, it seems like a lot of people still do enjoy getting it received in the mail at home,
Mhm.
but, again, if we wanted to, we could, do a trial of more or less just to see if it's,
Mhm.
if we're still meeting the needs.
One of the other
Did you
reasons. the
do an
postal rate
audit?
increase-
Oh, sorry.
Sorry?
Just gonna say, should we do an audit of the number of people? Because a few times that I've helped fold and seal and all of that, I noticed, and I won't say the name, but one individual who was on there with the street address plus a PO box. I wonder if we have probably not enough duplicates to make a difference, but if it's worth doing a little bit of an audit and if we can knock 25 names off there. I don't know.
What I can do is, why don't I email James tomorrow and get a request of the postage labels now? Because it's not going to be due until the 22nd. There's no time, that's not time sensitive.
Right.
But Kate, I think you've got a good point. If we notice duplicates and we know, I mean, obviously there are going to be some names like Wheeler that's going to pop up 100 times, but we know that there's numerous Wheelers in town. So, but I mean, if you're, but I mean, like,
Yeah,
if
but
there's,
we're getting fewer, especially in this category.
but, but there's, not a ton of Serpinskis. So,
Yeah.
we know that if, like there's 12 Serpinskis, and yeah, you're right.
Come on,
It's,
Kate, get to work here.
I'm done, Bob. Done,
Yeah, okay.
done.
That's what my wife said.
so yes, Powder House, I can get John to do a write-up. And I have been working on a survey to get out. We can print it in the April edition, or we can print it in June's edition about, a community center and are we meeting community needs? I will leave it up to you guys. I think, I wouldn't wait past June to get it
No,
out.
no.
Earlier might be better. Because what we could do is we can have it be something where we tell people, okay, fill it out, drop it off at the COA or the town offices. We can have it be virtual online at the same time. So that way, if people prefer one method over another of doing the survey, we'll get more hits back. I would want it to be something too, where it's not just applicable to just seniors in town. I would want the town to be involved with it as a whole, especially if we're looking for the community center.
Mhm.
And again, even people who may not be seniors, they know what their loved ones are going to need.
Mhm.
They're interacting with them. They know, what we're doing, what we're not doing well.
Yeah.
Is there more that we should be doing? What's the biggest kind of unmet need of the town so far with what we're doing?
Is the council going to get a read on this questionnaire before it goes out?
Yes.
Good.
But my question to you guys is, do you want, I have been working on it. Do you want this to go out for the April edition, or do you want to wait until June? That is my question.
I think if we've all agreed on its content and everything, there's no reason not to put it in. I don't know that we have a ton of additional material. We haven't really got a who, what, where.
I
when,
have
why thing.
I have 2 stories for Lori, but they'll be short. They won't be long.
Seems like a
And you have
good thing
the,
to get out sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have the new driver. who's
Yep. And
working.
he'll have like a paragraph of things to say in a picture. So
Chief, either of the chiefs, and submitting anything for this next edition.
nothing as of yet.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to peruse the questionnaire as well. Just make
Yep,
sure
that's
we're
fine.
asking.
Yep. No, I wouldn't. And like I said, it's not like time sensitive or anything like that. It's kind of, I'm making it more like, multiple choice, like check all that apply. Some fill in the blank, but not much. A lot of it like yes or no, fill, and then check boxes. Just so people will be able to easily complete it. Because if it gets too technical, then people are just going to ignore it.
Right.
It's one of the things in the Powder House News is in terms of postal rate. We had talked about expanding the number of editions per year, but we also talked about possibly inserting another page, just an 8.5 by 11 in the middle. And I actually took one of our older copies, put another sheet in it, handed it to the postal people. They said, no, it's the same rate. So the postage wouldn't have gone up if we'd added 2 pages in the center.
Yeah.
So the center.
Unfortunately, from what they were telling me at LPI, because of the book, because of the way that they fold the papers and they print the publication, we can't just request one additional page front and back. We'd have to request either 2 or 4.
Oh, because they do the.
Yeah. Yep.
Fold it.
So, yeah,
So it's a, what would that be, 17 by 11 sheet, and then they fold it, and that's there. Comes out to an 8.5 by 11.
mhm.
Huh, interesting. Okay, so we got some chit chat to do with Clinton and the post office, and send a hitman down to the post office. I want you to make an offer that you cannot.
And did you look into whether black and white may be a lot cheaper than color, or on this small quantity may not make much of a difference? I don't know.
They didn't,
I don't
Kelly
remember
didn't
asking.
mention anything about it being monotone versus in color, of that being the difference at this
Okay.
point. It was more the amount of issues being published and the frequency of the issues being published.
Mhm.
Yeah, I also remember when it came to the ads, we had the list, and the last person I spoke with said, I think it was the woman who said that she'd been sort of moved aside on the advertising, said something to the effect of, it would be helpful if we had the names of people to contact, and and then I'm thinking, geez, why don't we just do it, go out and get it ourselves? We're doing everything. The only thing we're not doing is asking somebody, do you want to advertise?
And we may be able to use local businesses like Attorney Romano, who we did the webinar on for elder law attorney. There's like a couple other businesses locally that they may not be Berlin, from Berlin, but they do service Berlin. So there are probably other, agencies that we can use as well. And again, I haven't worked with Clinton Offset before, but we can always talk to our potential donors as well, and just say, listen, do you feel more comfortable working with a company that's closer by versus a company that, while they are like a press, they may be farther away? Because I think some people may be hesitant, local may be better. But again, I don't want to speak for anybody, but it shouldn't be the deciding factor, but it may be a factor.
One thing on advertisements, it's probably useful to look at Clinton's publication and Northborough's publication.
Yep.
See who's advertising in them.
So, yes, so I have both of theirs in mind. Clinton is using LPI currently. Deb said that she wasn't sure if they were going to renew their contract either, because their contract's also up this year. And then I looked up who Northborough is using. They're a separate senior publishing company. It looks to be more expensive, but if you guys wanted me to get a firm number for them too, we can
Why not?
explore it. Yeah.
Have all the possibilities laid out. Any more on Powder House? Kate? Nope, okay.
Said I vote for less flashy because that stuff is bad for the environment.
Okay,
That's just
let's
my
gloss it
personal
in.
opinion inserted in there.
I see.
No, I totally get it. It's definitely something we should consider.
So the hair slickum that they put on the pages is not good for the environment? Is that, doesn't decompose as well?
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
I think, yeah, generally speaking, the glossy, shiny stuff is,
Is that true?
It's more expensive. And to me, it sometimes it looks cheap compared to the regular paper.
right.
The glossy looks cheap?
I think so.
Huh.
We're down to earth people.
Yeah, there you go.
No gloss here.
No gloss, no floss, no gloss. All right, that's good. Well, it seems like we had a good discussion about the Powder House. Berlin Seniors Events co-sponsoring with others.
So I attended the Berlin senior meeting on Thursday. It was riveting. Berlin seniors are working on some events coming up. They have asked to see if the COA would co-sponsor them. At this point, there is no monetary commitment as of yet, but I think that part of it too is that they definitely want to have more co-sponsorship with the COA going forward. They feel like that the events that they hold should be a co-sponsorship. If for any reason these events needed to be put indoors as opposed to outdoors, Obviously, as you guys know, the COA, we can request the use of a town building like 1870 without cost. Versus if the Berlin seniors were to do it, then that eats into their,
Which is a
Cost.
non-public organization.
so, so Bob, I don't know if you want to tell us about the events, but they specifically mentioned there's an event coming up in April, with the Wheelers. The Seacoast
Tim and
Stompers,
Jan.
yeah, Tim and
What's
Jan,
up with them?
Who is
Doing a
it?
presentation about.
Tim and Jan Wheeler,
Tim Wheeler and Jan Woodward
Woodward, sorry.
are doing a presentation about Cordelia's
Oh,
and history and so on and so forth at the 1870 Town Hall.
Oh,
The Seacoast Stompers, who were gonna be playing this back in July, they
Right.
had got postponed. Now they're coming in May.
And that's outdoors unless the weather doesn't cooperate in it. We're trying to, well, the Wheeler presentation is in the 1870 Town Hall. We need to secure a rain date for the Seacoast Stompers in case it can't be brought off on the South Common.
And
Yeah,
then,
Can you hear or am I being?
Stompers? They're coming in
Seacoast
May, but it was
Stompers.
postponed from when?
July,
From last year.
Yeah. And then do we have a date on Tim and Jan for their
it
Cordelia?
was end of April, but you guys didn't give me a firm date.
Well, actually, hang on,
At least when I was there, I had to leave.
I did put it in. Just see. Doot. Go. April,
I wonder when that pond is gonna open.
There's a couple farms that said they're opening end of April.
Rhoda's is open, but they told me the other day.
for ice cream,
Is that what they're open for?
probably,
Yeah.
because they were open until just about Santa time.
Yeah,
last
they
year.
were.
Yeah,
'cause
they closed late. I
Yeah,
think
they open
Davis,
early too. So,
Yeah,
because
first.
Kimball's, I think, opens around Easter.
Usually 8.
Yeah.
I went by someplace the other day and there was a line of people out eating ice cream.
That's because we've
Come
had some
to
freak warm
Berlin.
days. Not like today, yesterday.
Yeah. No, today would be your ice cream cone wouldn't melt day. Let's
Any
see.
day is a good day for ice cream.
That's true.
That's right.
Russians and Norwegians are big ice cream eaters and look how warm their countries are. Tim and Jan lecture on Friday, April 29th
Thank you.
at 7 PM at the 1870. And then in May is the Seacoast Stompers, and the date I don't believe has been set yet, and Abby Kelly Foster, a one-woman presentation enactment of Abby Kelly Foster would be in June. There was a potential to have a Memorial Day or summer barbecue. Oh, wait a minute, that was our thinking.
Yes. Well, we also talked about it at Berlin Seniors meeting.
That's right.
Yes.
And you already mentioned co-sponsoring events, which would be nice, because I
So,
know that Judy Mills is very gung ho about spreading the involvement among different organizations in town, so they all feel like they've got a part in it and can help with the manpower side of it as well. I know that the seniors have been interested not been interested in being a fundraising arm of the Council on Aging, which is a problem other communities have as well. Clinton has the same problem. They have a Friends of the Clinton Senior Center, but they do not like being pegged to raise funds for them. They want to be independent. And I know that the seniors have expressed, Berlin Senior Citizens Association have expressed a disinclination just to be out raising funds, and that's all they do.
well, they came up with a good solution though, that they were thinking that, you know, if they collaborated with the COA and down the road when we get our community center, essentially, they were like, you know, like they can handle a lot of the cultural events that the COA would be hosting, like kind of, you know, the coordination of it, which this is for this, you know, for the socialization, which, I mean, you know, beyond what we do already.
They prefer to be event planners than event financiers.
Which, At this point.
Are you trying to tell us something? That they're cheap?
No, they just don't
They
want
don't
it.
like
They
to
just,
ask for money.
yeah.
Well, but unfortunately, money is what makes the world go round.
Yeah.
That's how you
Can I,
get,
can I have $5, please? Because I want to go out and get an ice cream at Bro, never mind.
I
So,
do have $5 if you'd like.
just to move it along,
Yes.
do you guys have any feelings one way or another about co-sponsoring these events? Like I said, there is no monetary commitment as of this point.
I think it's great.
Obviously, at this point, like if that were to change, we would revote, but
Good
I,
PR. for us.
exactly, it seems to be a win-win, but obviously my opinion, so you guys decide if you want to vote on it.
The senior group.
How about I make a motion to vote on whether or not we want to co-sponsor the following
So you-
events? The Wheeler Woodward presentation, the Seacoast Stompers, and then Abby Kelly Foster.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
All those in favor? Lori,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
Pat,
Yeah, I.
and Bob. Aye. Unanimous.
Good choice.
Now, what does that entail? What do we,
So basically, whenever the COA co-sponsors any events with Berlin seniors, because we're co-sponsoring it, they get the liability coverage of the town.
okay,
And again, like if we had to secure something like 1870 or something like that, we can do it free
Yeah.
of cost.
And if it's outdoors, we have to pick up cigarette butts and
Yep,
folding chairs.
yep.
And if
Uh,
they
not
ask
we.
us for money, we get to vote again.
Yes, yes. Like I said, at this point, there's been no financial ask, requested. If that were to change, we would need to vote again.
Well, typically, they've been funded by
Cultural council grants, they
cultural
said.
council
Yeah.
grants, correct?
Because they said, because Berlin seniors were also talking in the future, should they be applying for these grants? Should the COA just be applying for them and then they help us then they co-sponsor it with us so that's a thing. We'll figure that out down the road.
I think somewhere along the line, we should begin thinking creatively about how to do events that also raise funds for
Well,
COA activities. 'Cause
and that's-
I'm aware of some councils on aging where their support groups hands them a check for $10,000 and
yep. And
so on and
that's,
so forth.
that is definitely, I think, now that COVID numbers have gone down and we can start looking to
You know,
doing
this is
more.
plastic, not wood.
Well, whatever.
Okay.
Because of that, we can hopefully now, start doing more in-person events.
Yeah.
That will allow us then to potentially, solicit, ask for donations. And, we can kind of take it from there. So yeah, perfect.
Marvelous.
So coming up,
Additional events, MFA webinar.
yes, so we have signed up for our Art in Bloom, BLOOM webinar. It is gonna be Saturday, April 9th. I believe it's 11 a.m. It was the $400 that we discussed. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna send me a link come Friday,
8 a.m., did you say?
11
11 a.m.
a.m. They're gonna send me the link on Friday. 96 different devices can be watching this tour at the same time.
Nice.
So they call it 96 participants, but theoretically, like 96 households or 96 gatherings can occur with this. I believe the tour is about an hour long. It's this particular exhibit. What I will do is I will post before end of week on Facebook and Clinton item about it. Because what we'll need to do is I'll need to get like an RSVP list as to who is gonna wanna watch this. Because I have to then send them the link.
Right.
Yeah.
Thursday for Clinton item is their deadline for submission.
Okay, then I can get it to them in the morning.
Yeah, and also it should be on Berlin Neighbors Connect.
Yep, I can do that.
And by the guy who drags the balloon behind the biplane over the, oh, never mind, that's not an option anymore, but
So,
advertising anything in Berlin is a pain because there aren't that many
I know.
places you can. do
So like I said, I can put up a little like notice in the general store and at the post office as well. We have to cap it at like 90, 96 people because it holds up to 96.
Hmm.
We may have to go a little less, just assuming, you know, again, for any technical issues or anything like that. But, you know, I'll basically just tell them that they just need to call or email to confirm that they want this. I say we open it to everybody. Like, I do think it's something cool that the seniors can enjoy. I can email Crystal over at Northbrook and see if there's a way that we can get it streamed. So that way everybody can kind of watch it together. But, you know,
Yeah, they could stream it in their community. How does that work out with the MFA?
we basically get a link that I have to forward to whoever wants to participate. And then whatever device gets hooked up counts as one.
Oh,
So like
Do they have like a main room that people could go in and watch it type thing?
Northbrook, the community room.
there are 2 or 3
Yeah, those,
community kinds of rooms on the 3 floors.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Would.
I mean, the town does have some TVs here. I can see if they're smart TVs and see if we can even do a screening here. I mean, I may not be able to, I won't be able to attend in person, but you know, I could get everything hooked up, you know, for Friday, so.
You'd think I'd know this, but I'm trying to think if Northbrook 1 has a TV screen in their community building.
I can't remember. I
haven't really
we
noticed.
used to,
I thought they
Oh,
did, but,
yeah,
You would think they would.
well, I'll
I'll
send
find
an,
out-
I'll
I'll
send an
find out.
email out to them tomorrow, so that's
Oh,
fine. So,
I'll find out. I know people over there.
so I'll start getting the word out because I figured if we get the word out too early, it's just a waste. So, yep, it's where we stand.
Reaching out to Dr. Jane.
I called her and playing phone tag with her. Just wanted to see, maybe we could do like a medical webinar with her about, you know, I don't know, like if there's like a, you know, we could even do like a question and answer thing about like things that, you know, seniors should be aware of, you know, things like that. Just, I don't have much in terms of webinars booked. The MFA is the main one for me for right now.
Okay.
We do have a volunteer that I am working with. He is a former, he has worked with a private health insurance company in the past, helping with like Medicare claims and things like that. So I asked him if we could do like a Medicare and you information session, just things that like, just be mindful of, because every year the Medicare plans change and every year you've got to renew it and things like that. So I feel like maybe like a little like tips and tricks webinar, just for people to be mindful of every year when they review their Medicare plans. You know, if we get people starting to think about that early, then come open enrollment time in October, everybody's not freaking out as much. And at least then they'll know what to look for.
Also something on housing, because there are people around who are really struggling to find
I can reach out, Art,
affordable housing options.
and unfortunately, it's not getting any better.
No, it's getting worse.
I mean, I'm sure Kate can speak to that.
As you can, Victoria.
Oh, yes,
Yeah. Yep.
it's miserable.
Gotten significantly less affordable over the last 2 years.
You must be referring to the $1,300,000 house up Sawyer Hill Road.
I think it's sold for more than that.
Well, it just resold.
Oh.
No,
Apparently it's under,
It is under contract again, yeah.
that just blows my mind. And supposedly they jacked the price 100,000 over what they
Yeah, I
paid.
think it sold for 1,295 or something last year, and it was on for 1,395. I might be
we're living in
mistaken
the
though.
wrong town.
No, we're living in the right town in the wrong houses. No, we're living in the right houses. Who wants to pay taxes on it?
Well, that's the
$1.4
thing,
million
like,
house.
you know, it's a lot of money.
So, I mean, we can, I can certainly reach out, like our Cap Solutions does do a lot of work with people who are low income. I can see they do have a lot of webinars. Some of them require costs, some of them don't. I can start I'll reach out to them as well, just to see if we can do something, just kind of a Q&A, because they're based in Fitchburg and in Worcester. So they really do handle a lot of Central Mass.
You might check with
Habitat,
some of your, well, or some of your co-COA directors who may already be tuning in that kind of program if we could piggyback on that.
I am meeting with the Regional Council on Aging Directors. I'm meeting with Clinton, Boylston, and Lancaster on Thursday.
Great.
Here's why. We have been having some issues with our ASAP, our Aging Services of Central Mass. They've been having a lot of staffing issues with their contractors where there's been like a lot of lag time with getting home health aides and things like that in the past.
Yeah.
And Clinton is actually looking into getting funding to hire a home health aide that works with the town. So I'm meeting with them because I think that this is something, we're having the same problem here as are obviously Bolton and Lancaster. So I'm going to meet with them too. And that is something that I will bring up, is just to see what we can kind of do collaboratively, regionally. Because I mean, our regional meetings are like 20 COA directors, but like just among us, what can we do to try to help meet the needs more so? Because it's not getting better, it's getting worse.
Did you tell me? No. Who the heck was it? Might have been Louise Jan that was telling me about somebody up. What is it, off Five Corners of up the Barnes Hill Road? And the whole roof is basically a tarp. And I'm wondering, I've heard of COAs and friends in towns gathering a group of contractors and so forth who donate services. And I think Lancaster did that, and they actually re-roofed for a senior's house who was absolutely not able to afford it, and the roof was going to hell, and so was the inside of the house on account of it. That would be, I've seen 2 houses in town that are like scary.
Yeah. Did you say it was Lancaster, Bolton, Boylston, and Clinton?
No Boylston.
No Boylston.
Yeah.
Lancaster, Clinton, and
Bolton.
Bolton. That's almost the Neshoba neighbors lineup. That was going to be Lancaster, Bolton, and Berlin.
So that's what we're looking at. Because like I said, I speak with the 3 of them pretty frequently. They're the ones I speak with most frequently, obviously, and we get along. So I figured at this point it doesn't hurt us to look at that. Now it's just a conversation. There's nothing committed, but I think just having these kind of conversations and what can we do to meet our region's specific needs?
Sure.
It's a good place to start, I think.
Many minds
Yeah.
come up with more solutions. That's
Or, many minds in my mush,
good. Let's see, other business and questions. Kate? Pat? Lori?
Good.
Look if I have any in the back of my head. No.
Oh, hold on. Oh, it's Chris.
Just
Sorry,
because
Chris.
we adjourned.
No, it's okay. I just want to make sure she misheard everything. Hi, Chris. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I've been listening.
There you are.
Any thoughts?
No, I've got a whole page full of notes. I'll share with the select board members at the next meeting. And I hope I got it all right.
I think so. Oh, COVID drive, big success. The pickup
Oh.
drive. Kate and Karen did an excellent job. So it was a big success.
Plus, I got a really rad tour of the firehouse, and I got to ride around in a fire truck.
Well, all
And I have
right.
video proof.
And we also like to thank Bob for his delivery of set kits during the day as well.
So what were you riding around, throwing them off on properties as you went by, or how did that work?
No,
That was your
we-
job.
We just did a loop around the the town building.
Well,
Karen and I.
You're a cheap date. I mean, you could have asked them to take you around the town or something.
Well, we got coffee from the firehouse. Chief Shartner bought us food, so we were happy.
Pizza.
Yeah. And a huge piece of pizza. I didn't have to eat for 3 days. It was amazing. Yeah.
So,
I did get a critique of my driving though. Kate said I was a little erratic coming into the parking lot.
A
That was
little.
because we had one member of town who almost ran over like 3 people about 10 minutes before Bob came through.
Yeah,
Wow,
it was interesting.
We were a little on edge.
good to know. All right, anybody comes up with any brilliant ideas along, the phone lines are always open. My phone lines are always open.
Yeah.
Chris is always an attentive ear, so that's good to know.
Yep.
Anything you need help with from us with, Chris?
I can't think of anything. Next week, we'll be talking about the ARPA funds again at our meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And I think because there were so many, we're gonna talk about maybe a few that aren't going to, pass muster, so they might go to the bottom of the list. Not that they'll be deleted, but they might go to the bottom of the list. I think the request that Victoria put in for the senior center or using a building is still up there.
Okay.
Good to
So-
know.
Yeah,
good.
Victoria, the meeting with Clinton, Bolton, Lancaster was to discuss.
A problem with basically home health aid coverage
Home health
between the
aid.
towns.
That's right.
and just
Okay.
also seeing too, whatever, needs that we're obviously needing, that we can try to do like a regional approach to.
That's good. That's great. All right. I just didn't get to the last part of that.
All good.
Okay.
All right, anybody have any other issues, questions, answers? Money you wish to donate, any of that? No.
How many COVID tests did we hand out, Victoria?
We did Bob did a delivery of about 20. I would say we got rid of about 75 boxes that day alone.
And you still have a,
We still have some left, but I've also given out like another 10 boxes since then too. So there is still a stash. We're having a notice go out with the taxes that if anybody needs a box to call me, because their Board of Health and the fire department are stashing them, but they just come to me anyway.
when did the taxes go out? Tax,
Very soon.
Yes,
Very
before the
soon.
end of the month. Well,
They've all
They're-
been stuffed.
so they're gonna be mailed
makes me
shortly.
wonder about the questionnaire you're talking about. If that's something that could go out with those.
They only had, the way Dennis had done the taxes, they only had like one back of one piece of paper left. So like our COA, like the notice about the COVID test, then I think Eloise had one notice going, like she had a blurb, and then that was it. So we were out of room.
Doesn't someone here know Dennis though, who might be able to talk a little bit? Well, all right then. Thank you all very much for a good meeting full of good discussions about a number of topics. I'd entertain a motion to, oh wait, our next meeting will be April 26th at 4 o'clock. I keep writing 4:30, which is why I always feel a little stupid when 3:55 comes around. Call Victoria and said, no, it's 4 o'clock. All right, so there we are.
And we can do it again where we'll do a mix between hybrid and in person, just so.
All right
how,
then.
how are you doing that, Victoria? I know
We're
that.
just recording it on Zoom. I mean, Kate's virtual at this point, so, and the rest of us are here. So we
Yeah.
figured at least for the public, so they can kind of know what's going on, we just still record it. But if we meet, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, like if Kate, Rachel, or Karen can't meet in person and they can just virtual, that's fine too. We're not picky.
Okay, that's good to know, because we did have Brittany from Cable come talk to us at the last meeting, and we'll be thinking about doing this. I think Peg said after the election in May.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
I hear a motion to adjourn.
I make a
Make a
motion, we
motion.
adjourn.
We hear a second.
I second.
Second.
Motion moved and seconded. All those in favor, Lori?
Aye.
Aye.
You're jumping the gun, Pat.
Okay.
Lori and, okay, Kate,
Aye.
Who else is here? Oh, Bob, aye. Very well. We are adjourned.
Thanks, people.